In that lecture, I have talked about the reverse of a number, that how can you find reverse of a number using loops. Then after, we have also performed a program in which I was finding the sum of digits for given number. So we have also seen that how loop can be useful for that. Now we are continuing with those examples. In this lecture, we are going to perform 2 more examples on that. So first program that I am going to perform in today's class is all about Armstrong number. Now, if you are not aware with this term, then I would like to talk about it. First, what is the Armstrong number? A number is said to be Armstrong number if sum of the cubes of its digit is equal to the number itself. Say 1 is having only single digit, that is 1. Cube of 1 is also 1, so 1 is called Armstrong number. Say a number 153. The sum of cubes of 1 plus 5 cube plus 3 cube is also 153. So 153 is called Armstrong number. But say if I take a number 2, then it is having only single digit, that is 2. Cube of 2 is 8. So 8 is not equal to 2. So 2 is not an Armstrong number. Now if you are not getting this point, then first let me open my IDE and perform a program, and then we will check whether we are getting that or not. So for that, first I would like to open a new project. Inside that I will write include stdio.h, which is very common for all programs, int main. Then after I am just writing return 0. Now what I am going to take, I have to ask user to enter a number so that I can check it, right? So for that I am taking num and I am saying enter a number to check. So whether the number is Armstrong number or not, I want to check that, and that's why I am asking user to enter that. For user being able to enter a number, I should write scanf, and inside that I am writing this. So now user is able to enter a number, right? Now what I am going to do? See, I am not directly writing the logic, and if you just understand the logic, then try to implement it first. Then you go through the next remaining part of this video, right? Because I don't want you to just mug up the code. I just want you to understand the logic and perform the program by yourself. So from now, if you just understand the logic of Armstrong number, then you can directly go and perform the program. Now I can just make your task easy by adding comment Armstrong number. And the logic is, say 153, I want to check if 153 is Armstrong number or not, then 1 cube plus 5 cube plus 3 cube equal to 153 also. So 153 is the number itself, and sum of cube of the digits is also 153. That's why 153 is called Armstrong number. So you have to write a logic according to that. Now what I'm going to do? I'm using while loop. Why? Because every time I want a digit, and this logic is similar which we have implemented in previous lecture for finding the reverse of a number or to find the sum of digits. Inside while loop, what I'm doing, r equal to num modulo 10 num, then say sum equal to sum plus inside the bracket write r into r. You can also use power function over here, but I'm not using that. And after that, num equal to num divided by 10. This is the same logic. Where it differs, here it differs for r cube, because for every time I'm finding the cube of the remainder, which is nothing but the digit of the number, right? What is missing? Here I have not defined r. Here I have not defined or declared sum, and I have not initialized. You know this, right? Why we should initialize it. So now it is perfect. Now I'll save it after. But now what will be? Just think that what will be the value of num when control comes here, where you are seeing the blinking cursor. What will be the value of num? Can anyone answer this? Yeah. So just take a pause in this video and answer and think about this. When my control comes to this point, as you can see with the blue line, at that time the value of num will be 0, and then only it can come from this while loop, right? So if I am comparing the sum, which contains the sum of cubes of digits, with num at this moment, then it will be wrong. It will be false every time because my number is 0. Just think about it. And I cannot compare it before the sum calculated, because at that time I am not having the correct sum. So I have to compare it once this while loop is over, and if the while loop is over, that means number becomes 0. How can I compare number with sum at that time? Right? Do you understand the logic? You can see the code over here. So I should preserve this number, the value inside the variable number or num. How I can preserve it? I can write a temporary variable and assign the value of num before it changed. So here, as soon as user is entering a value inside num, I am saving the value of num to temp variable. I have to declare temp over here. Do you understand this logic of writing temp here? Because if I am checking, if I am writing something like if num is equal to sum, then the number is Armstrong number, else the number is not an Armstrong number. If I am writing something like this, then here num will also always be 0 and sum will be some value. So it will not be correct at any moment. So that's why I am preserving this value of num, the original value of num, to temp, and later on I am just comparing temp with sum. If sum is equal to temp, we know this. See, this is the assignment operator that we have already covered, and this is comparison. So if this returns true, then printf say the given number is Armstrong number, and I will love to write this in new line. And if this is not true, then the given number is not Armstrong number, right? So if I just say this program, loops, and here if I just compile it and execute it, okay, it is asking me to enter a number. I am just entering 1. The given number is Armstrong number because I have already showed you that 1 is an Armstrong number. Now if I am entering another number, that is say 21, then 21 is not an Armstrong number, as you can also calculate it using your simple math. If I'm again execute it and entering 159, you can see why it is okay. 159 is not an Armstrong number, 153 is. So I'm just 153 is an Armstrong number. See, you have to check your program for each code. You have to check that. And this is how you're going to perform a program in which we are finding whether the given number is Armstrong number or not. If any kind of such program is asked in any exam, then you must know the logic. Here, whether the given number is Armstrong number or not, to know that you have to know the logic that for the Armstrong number, the sum of cubes of digits must be same as the original number. If you don't know the logic, then you cannot perform the program. Now, we are going to perform another program in which I am going to show you whether the given number is perfect number or not. Now, when the number is called perfect number, let me just close this window and I'll show you what is the logic for perfect number. Perfect number. Now, if the sum of digits of a given number is similar, if the sum of digits of a given number is similar with the multiplication of digits. You can see 1, 2, 3. Sum of digits is 6. And also multiplication of these digits is also 6. So 1, 2, 3 is called perfect number. What about 1? Sum of digits is also 1 and multiplication of digits is also 1. So that's why 1 is also a perfect number. Now what will be the change in this code? See, if you know the logic of reverse of a number, then you can perform all of this program by yourself. You don't need to go through the solution. You can perform it by yourself if you understand the logic. But if you not have understand this, then you will not be able to write it. So here we will check whether I need this step or not. What else I needed? I need month. Right? Because I want to find the multiplication as well as sum. So here after sum I am just removing all of this, and here mul equal to mul into say r. This is how I can get multiplication of digits. But what will be the problem here? You can see what will be the problem. See here, for multiplication, what will be the value that will be multiplied with the first remainder? I have to initialize mul, right? What if I initialize it with 0? What will be the quotient? If I initialize mul with 0, then if I am multiplying 0 with any number, the answer will be 0. So here, I have to initialize it with 1, right? I am initializing it. And what is the change? Do I need a tab here? Do I need to compare my original number? No. I am comparing mul with sum at the end of this loop. So this is not needed, and that's why I am also removing this step from here. Here you need to compare mul with sum. If both of them are equal, then you can say that the given number is perfect number, else the given number is not a perfect number. If I just save this program, compile it and execute it, if I'm entering 1, the given number is perfect number, and you can see that, right? And if I again save it and compile it, say 1, 2, 3, given number is perfect number, because we know that by simple mathematical calculation 1, 2, 3 is also perfect number. And here if I am entering say 23, then the given number is not a perfect number. So this is how loops are making our code more efficient. Till now we have performed 4 examples of loop, and if you have any doubt in any of them, then I prefer you to watch the first video, the first example of reverse of a number, in which I have shown you that how loop is optimizing my code. In that program, I have already covered that what if I'm not using this loop? What should be the steps? Right? So if I'm not using this loop over here, if I'm just calculating it without any iterations, then what is happening? Our code is becoming so lengthy. Now, one may ask that, ma'am, how can I implement this program using for loop? Then I would like to show in this program. See, I don't want to use while, so I'm just erasing it. But you remember the condition. What was the condition that? 4 needs 3 parts and 2 semicolons. Condition was and greater than 0. Here, instead of increment decrement, you can just do one thing, just erase this from here, because in for loop we are writing steps over here, and here you can write num divided and equal to 10. You know this operator, right? And what will be the initialization? Do I need to initialize and? Here and is the loop variable. Do I need to initialize it? No, because and is already entered by user. So you can just place a space over here. You can just skip this or ignore this. You don't need to compulsory write anything. But yeah, you have to write 2 semicolons for executing for loop. That you will study in your subject called compiler design in the higher semesters. That why do you need that? So if I just save this program, compile it and run it again, what is the error over here? And was not declared in this code. Okay, because and is not there, num is there, and that's why it is giving me an error. If I again save it and compile it, you can see it is executing without any error. And if I just write 1, 2, 3, see, the given number is perfect. So this is how you can also implement use for loop to implement the other programs which I have implemented using while loop. I hope you enjoyed this class and your concepts are clear regarding loops. If you have any doubt, then as usual I am saying to comment below the comment section. I'll make sure that I clear your doubt. See you in the next class. Thank you so much.